Hi guys, welcome. We're going to work today on the fundamentals of Pilates. It's a good class for anyone who is a beginner or advanced, just to work on your technique, whether you're working on flexibility, Pilates, handstands. It's really important to understand how to use your breath in order to engage the core in the right way and protect your lower back. So we'll start by laying on our backs. Have the feet open hip distance apart and allow our spine to be completely flat on the ground. Heels are underneath the knees, and place your hands on the belly for a second. So we want to focus on the breath. We inhale through the nose and we exhale through the mouth. Inhaling towards the upper back and exhaling to the rib cage. So it's going to sound like this. So let's try for a moment. Take a deep inhale. Open your mouth, exhale. Now imagine that there is a mirror in front of you and you want to stain that mirror with steam. So when you inhale, in through the nose, and when you exhale, think about going very narrow with your breath, targeted into one specific spot on that imaginary mirror. Now the second thing is the placement of the hands. We want to place them on top of the ribs, thumb down, fingers in. And as you inhale, you want to feel your thumbs expand to the sides. So the ribs expand. And when we exhale, we want to pull the fingers together. The ribs close back in. Now the last thing is, as we inhale, there is a little bit of a pull from the belly button in and up towards the chest, and when we exhale, instead of pushing the belly back out, we try to tighten the belt area in. So place your hands. Remember the sound of the breath, where it goes in the body, and the feeling that you get in your lower belly muscles. So take a deep inhale, filling up the ribs, and as you exhale, pull the ribs together. Now keep one hand on your rib, one hand on your belly. This time focus on the inhalation going to your upper back and vacuum the belly button. And as you exhale, make sure you're not pushing the hand away, but you're tightening the belt area. And so it really feels like you're pushing the lower back into the ground here rather than lifting into an arch here. The back should be neutral unless you have lordoza, which is what I have, and then it might feel more like a little bit of a tilt to pull the belly button in towards your mouth. But otherwise, just think about elongating the lower back. Let's try to do 3 breaths in a row and see if you start to feel maybe your core switching on. So inhale, exhale. Two more, inhale. Exhale. One more, inhale. Exhale. So potentially you're actually feeling your belt area starting to wake up a little bit. That is the power of the breath. Now we'll do the same thing by reaching the hands over the head and down by our sides. Now, as you reach the hands over the head, make sure there is no back bend. Your spine stays flat on the ground, even if it means you have to stop the hands before they reach the floor. So let's go together. Place the hands down by your sides. Lengthen your back. Inhale. Hands overhead. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Two more, inhale. Exhale. One more, inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. So you can continue practicing this, or adding the legs. Let's lift the legs up into a 90 degrees. Make sure the knees are in line with your hips and the heels are in line with your knees. We'll start by just focusing on the breath here. Deep inhale, we try to vacuum the belly button in. Deep exhale, pull. Scoop your belly in and try to open it to the sides. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. And release the legs for a moment. So if your core is not extremely strong, you might have actually felt it like a really strong workout already of the core. Now we're at the last bit of challenge. We will try to go into toe taps. Then we will add the hands into the equation as well. So lift your legs up to table. This time as you inhale, try to lower the right toes to touch the floor. Exhale, pull the leg back up. Other side, inhale. Exhale. Make sure the lower back is flat on the ground. So we inhale to upper back, exhale to rib cage. Inhale right. Exhale lift. Inhale left. Exhale lift. 1 more to each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's add the hands. Hands reach up to the ceiling. We will try to lengthen opposite limbs. It's called the dead bug. So inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale, back to center. Other side. Inhale, left leg, right hand. Exhale, lift. And you can stop before you touch the ground with your hand or with your leg. 2 more to each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more to each side. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Release for a moment and lengthen your legs all the way forwards. So now we will try to do the same breath while our legs as straight as they can be and push the lower back into the ground. So some people have a flat spine. It might be very easy for them. For people that have lordosa, it might be a bit difficult, and you can softly bend the knees a little. So inhale. Press it all to the ground. Exhale. Even more. Inhale to the upper back. Exhale, ribs in. Lower back pushing to the ground. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's try with the hands over the head. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Elongation. Exhale, contraction. 1 more time. You want to feel the belts. Inhale. Exhale. And slowly release. We'll work on the tilt of the pelvic for a moment. So I'll have the hands over the head, but you can have the hands by your sides. I lift my shirt up so you can see a little bit. So anterior tilts, APT, looks like a back bend and arch, like Beyonce. PPT, posterior tilt, is when the pelvic is rotating towards the mouth. Michael Jackson. It's even lifting my hips up a little bit. Let's try again. Inhale. Flare the ribs, but vacuum the belly button. So this is still switched on and this is very tight and strong. Exhale. A little lift. Now as we do that, we'll try to lift this time up to a full bridge. So inhale. This stays active. Exhale. and start lifting. Keep tucking. Use the inner thighs. Imagine that they're pushing into something. The inner outlets of your feet are switching on, the glutes, the hamstring. No back pain. We try to flatten the spine as much as we can and slowly lower down. So the ideal way is to lift one vertebrae at a time. It's called articulation of the spine, separation and control. So let's try again. We start with the back bend, APT, and start to tuck and lift one vertebrae at a time. Imagine that you're holding something heavy between your thighs and slowly start to lower one vertebrae at a time, trying to place your lower back last. Now you might feel a pull in your shoulders here. It takes a bit of time to learn that control, and that's okay. Let's try one more. Tilt, and then go into your tuck. Lift, 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 lift. Make sure the belly button is trying to come into your mouth, and then slowly keep that as if someone is punching you one vertebrae at a time. Now I'll move on to control over the belt area in rotations as well. So you can cactus your hands, T-shape your hands, whatever it is that makes you soften your shoulders. I like to have the hands over my head, interlaced, shoulders relaxed, and I lift the legs up. And then we try to sway the legs from side to side very, very gently, keeping the 90 degrees without contracting the chest, the shoulders, the neck, but try to work through the belt. So we inhale to the upper back as we take the legs to the right. And exhale, pull back, tighten the belt. Try to soften your neck. To the left, inhale. Exhale. Let's go for 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. Release your neck. 4. 3. The belt area should be on fire. 2. Last one. And release. So the transversus abdominis is the belt area that goes over the obliques and the abs. And so it wants to pull everything in and not let everything push out. So sometimes we can harden the abs, but it looks like a little cornice popping up of our belly. That means the abdominis is not active. And so the lower back is in high danger of pain. So just always wanting to make sure that this area is flat in. It's not about fat, it's about where you're breathing in your body and you're tightening this area. So if you touch this area, it should be quite strong and not very soft. We're moving on to the upper abs for a moment, working on chest lifts. So we want to make sure that we're not lifting through the neck, but we want to lift through the abs. Hands go behind the head. Inhale, lengthen to the upper back. Exhale, we contract through the abs and the head keeps pushing back against the hands as we try to peel the shoulder blades off the floor. Chin stays away from the chest, and inhale, lower back down without flaring the lower back. Let's go for 5. So inhale as you are lowering or as you're down. Exhale. Keep pushing your head back a little. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Gaze to the space between the knees. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. So if you get to look at your belly button, make sure it's not pushing out, but it is pulled in. And slowly lower down. So hopefully you started feeling the upper abs, just that space between the ribs, and a little bit maybe your lower belly muscles as well. And we're adding a challenge, legs up to table. You can always stay in the space before. Inhale to the upper back. Exhale, rib cage. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale. Exhale. 4 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. And slowly lower back down. So moving on to sitting position, I'm going to sit on a blanket today, and I'll explain why. If when you're sitting, your knees are higher than your hips, when we're going to work on the breath and the core, it's going to be almost impossible to access your core. And so we want the knees to be in line or a bit lower than the hips. You may want to sit on something here so that your spine is elongated. Now bring your hands to the ribs. And we'll just focus on the breath for a moment. Inhale to the upper back. Exhale, ribs in. 2 more. Inhale, think about the tail, the top of your head lengthening up. And exhale, ground and close. 1 more. Inhale, in and up. Exhale, tighten, but don't lower down. So you can release the hands. Let's do it 1 more time. Deep inhale, elongate your spine without flaring the ribs. Exhale, tighten the ribs in even more. Now let's try with the hands lifting up and down. Inhale the hands up without flaring the ribs. Exhale down in line with the shoulders. Now if you are back bending, stop before you go into a back bend. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Ribs in, resist. Exhale. So check with yourself if it's impossible. Another trick to do is place your back against the wall when you're sitting. So it's exactly like we were on the ground, but this time you have the challenge of the hip flexors. So the tighter and weaker the hip flexors are, it's obviously going to be a bit harder not to flare and compensate, because we need that little bit of lift through here, that little bit more of a grounding. So you might start to feel your hip flexors, and that's okay. It's part of the process. And in the other Pilates classes, we work on the hip flexors as well, and the flexibility class. Let's try 1 more challenge. Bring the elbows together in front of you, and then try to open your hands like a cactus as you inhale without flaring the ribs. So we tuck the tail a little bit, elongate the spine, pull the ribs in. Inhale, open your hands without flaring the ribs. And exhale, close. Try to keep the shoulders relaxed and away from the ears. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. exhale. So hopefully you're starting to feel your core even in sitting positions and not just laying on your back. Your core should be switched on slightly to help you lift and lengthen your spine. And then we're adding a little bit of twists like we did rotation with the knees, this time the upper body. Place your right hand over the left forearm. Take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, try to rotate and stop your chest and the face in the same line. Should feel quite restricted, and you should feel it just in the line of the bra if you have one. Inhale. Exhale to the center. Make sure this whole area is strong and staying, and there is no back bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rotate to the other side. Inhale. Exhale, back to the center. One more to each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And slowly release. You can also do it sitting on a chair. Make sure your hips are not moving, but that you're also not going into a back bend to then rotate. So we try to lengthen the spine and then move just from above the waist and not from below. Let's do it with the hands straight to the side, so a little harder. Hands extend open to the sides. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, rotate to one side. Make sure to stop when you're feeling the oblique. Inhale. Exhale to the center. Other side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And slowly release. So just checking in with yourself that you really are holding this area in one space. We'll move on to roll downs and roll ups, which are pretty classic in Pilates as well. And we start by stepping on our feet and grabbing just a creak underneath the knees. We'll start by inhaling, lengthening the chest. And exhale, round the lower back towards the floor until the hands completely straighten. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower to round. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Try to keep the shoulders down and away from the ears, and try to get light on your hands. And we'll slowly start to travel down with the hands. So heels drive into the floor. Hands can also hold on to the mat or on your legs. Take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, we start to lower and we slide the hands on the heels, lowering as much as we can. And slowly lift all the way up. So I'm using my thighs to lift and lower, and again, you can also use the mat. You can stop before you feel like you're about to drop down, or you can try to lower all the way down if you feel like you're holding that and staying that. Let's start again. Maybe the knees are slightly straighter. Inhale. Exhale as you move. Drive the heels into the floor. Try to lower one vertebra at a time. Your knees will automatically straighten as you try to lower. Inhale the ground and exhale, we start to lift. Ground the heels. So heels really push into the floor, and we try to keep the shoulders relaxed as much as possible. One more time, maybe this time with the legs straight or slightly bent. Reach your hands forwards, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale. Exhale. So you see, once I reach that part of my lower back, I have to automatically bend my knees because I have my lordosa. And that's just part of life. It's something that I need to accept in my body, but I will try to straighten my spine as much as I can, strengthen as much as I can, until maybe one day I'll be able to fully control my lordosa. Let's try one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So we try to move with no momentum. Another way to work in this is grab the line behind your knees and we'll straighten one leg at a time. So lower as much as you can and then release one leg straight forward, pull it back, other leg, pull it back, hands in the air, reach, lift, reach, lift. Keep rounding your lower back, make sure you're not flaring the ribs, and you'll feel your belt waking up. Now working towards teaser. So you might straighten one leg up and then the other to stop, or if it feels possible, both legs up and you're holding onto your knees. Try to round your belly button, but keep your chest open. And then see if you can release one leg, pull. Other leg without back bending, pull. Inhale as you lengthen, exhale as you pull. Inhale as you lengthen, exhale as you pull, and release. And the last step will be to try to straighten both legs. To pull both legs, round, no back bend, round, and pull. We'll lower down to the forearms. And we're working on the knee sways. Push the ground, open your chest, but round your lower back towards the floor. So tuck the tail, lift one leg, then the other. You can stay here or start swaying your knees to the side, back to the center without rounding through your chest. So working with the breath, continue rounding the lower back into the floor, but open your chest here. Now we'll try to straighten down towards the ground, toe tap. So again, open chest, rounded spine. Inhale to tap, exhale to lift. Inhale to tap, exhale to lift. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can always do it like this. One leg, another leg. And the last bit of a challenge is, instead of tapping down, we try to straighten the legs so the chest is open. I inhale straight forwards and I exhale to pull. You can always do it with a leg down. Straighten to pull without going into a back bend. Keep rounding the lower back to the ground, but I keep opening the chest. Really waking up the core. We'll move on to a tabletop position, moving between cat and cow, focusing on the lower back here. So shoulders pretty neutral, and then try to tuck the tail and untuck the tail to drop and go into APT, Beyonce, and then PPT, Michael Jackson. Again, inhale APT, exhale PPT. Let's try to create more isolation. This time we tuck the tail and we try to move just through the shoulders. Depression into full elevation. Make sure it's not just your chin that's moving. Keep tucking the tail. Depression through the shoulders. The chest is melting down, but we keep tucking the tail. And then push round through the shoulder blades. One more time. Try to keep tucking the tail as you go down with the chest and as you push up. So one of the core fundamentals of Pilates is isolation and control of the powerhouse versus other limbs of the body. We'll now try to add a little more challenge. Tuck the tail, push away through the ground, tuck your toes, and lift your knees up to hover. And see how this feels. If it feels okay, try to point one toe, release, and then point the other to release without going into an APT, but try to keep rounding and tucking the tail under. Let's try one more to each side. So we tuck the tail, lift the knees up, point one toe, and then point the other, and release. Now let's try to do it for 10. Tuck the tail, lift the knees, switch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Hopefully no back pain, but a lot of engagement. I will now try to challenge ourselves a little more by extending a leg backwards completely. So tuck the tail, tuck your toes, lift the hips up, reach one leg back. Without going into a back bend, try to keep tucking and lift the leg as high as you can without compensating. Bring it back in. Other leg, tuck, reach the leg away, and try to keep tucking as you lift the leg as high as you can without going to a back bend. Bring it in and release. Let's try 4 in a row. Tuck the tail, round the spine, lift the knees up, one leg goes back, comes in. Another 3, bring it in. 2, 1, and release. So ideally, if you have lower back pain, you almost felt like there was quite a relief there. You felt maybe even your obliques joining the game, and definitely your core, shoulders, maybe you felt your wrists a little bit, but you did not go into the back bend. Now let's try opposite hand to limb. So keep the knees down, tuck the tail, reach the left leg back and right hand forward. Keep tucking as you lengthen. Bring them back in, switch sides. Tuck the tail, reach opposite limbs. Think about elongation as we pull the belly away from the ground and bring it back. So you can try this one more time or add a little bit of a challenge by being in the air. So we tuck the tail, lift the knees, reach one leg back, reach one hand forwards. Try to hold. You can always drop the knee down, but try to round your spine as you lengthen. Palm and knee down, palm and foot down. Keep the knees lifted if you're with me. Opposite side. And release. Come to lay on your stomach. Create a little pillow for your head. And think about pushing your hips up to the ceiling, knees to the floor. Then push your hip flexors to the ground. Think about lifting your knees up. 2 more times. Push the knees down. Lift the hips up. Push the hip flexors down. Lift the knees up. 1 more. Hips up. Hip flexors down, knees up. Now that might not be enough to just push the hip flexors, but try to push the hip flexors and pull the belly button away from the ground at the same time, so your pelvic bone is on the floor. Now release your legs straight back. It should feel already like a really nice feeling in your lower back. Rather than compressing it, you are creating a lot of space there. So the pelvic bone is pushing down, the hip flexors are pushing down, the knees are lifted, the belly button is lifted. We lift one leg up without collapsing. So think instead of up, away. Release. Other leg, away, but we keep pushing the pelvic bone to the floor. And then switch, switch, switch. Pelvic bone pushing to the floor, belly button is not touching the ground at all. And release. Now let's try to lift both legs together. So tuck the tail, belly button is lifted, hip flexors and hip bone down to the floor. Try to lift both legs up and lengthen. So don't think up too much. Think lengthen. You should feel the hamstring, the glute, maybe inner thighs. Definitely not the lower back though. It might feel like you're pushing your hip bone and your pelvic bone into the floor, and it might feel a bit uncomfortable, so you can play something on. Let's focus on lifting the chest up. So we tuck the tail and we start reaching the elbows up and down for a moment. Keep your chin on the floor. 3, make sure you keep pushing the pelvic bone to the floor. 2, last 1. Keep the elbows lifted, push the pelvic bone to the floor, lift your chin up as well. And release. So it's not much of a lift. The ribs are still pushing to the floor, the chest is still pushing onto the floor. Let's try again. Pelvic bone into the ground. Elbows lift. Chin is lifting, but the pelvic bone is still pushing the floor. Now, can you start to lift your chest up without releasing the pelvic floor? Without releasing the pelvic bone from the ground. You should really feel your glute here. And release back down. 2 more times. Pelvic bone to the floor. Belly button off. Lift the elbows, lift the chin. Keep pushing the pelvic bone. And try to lift your chest. And release. It should feel very spacious. If it doesn't, it means that you're doing this probably, or you're not pushing the pelvic bone and you're just lifting your chest and collapsing onto the lower back. Now let's try with the hands in a cactus. So again, hip into the ground, think hip flexors down, belly button off. Lift your hands up, lift your chin up, and then keep pushing the pelvis into the floor to lift your chest up. You should feel the glutes, you should feel the hamstrings. Think about a little bit of elongation rather than just lifting up. I'm always trying to keep pushing the pelvic into the ground, not letting it lift, but thinking about tucking. Eventually, it would actually allow me to lift much higher. hands out in chest and go into your child's pose. And so ideally you did not feel like you needed a child's pose at the moment at all, and you did lengthen your lower back there. This class is almost like over the top of like rounding and tucking the tail, especially for low back pain and lordosa. But it does show you the emphasis on where you're working from, working with the breath, and where the sensations should actually be, and how to isolate and control. So go over it, even if you consider yourself quite advanced, and see if you are actually going through the fundamentals at all before you're doing ground movements. Can I control this, or am I compensating by something in order to make a big movement? So sometimes smaller or less is much better in Pilates.